everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm back. Well, I really didn't go away, but I was doing a play with my son, and I was having an awesome time, and let my channel go by the wayside. But thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you to my new subscribers that I have out there. Thank you for sticking with me. Since I've been gone, there has been discussion because of a comment Martin Scorsese had said about the Marvel films not being cinema. And he did an op-ed, and there's a lot of back and forth between people, and I see Scorsese's bigger point. I think Scorsese made the big mistake of saying they're not cinema. I never thought he would take a stand like that, but at the same time, I'm not going to fault Scorsese, because I know what he's talking about. But at the same time, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm obsessed with the MCU. I loved the comics. I love the whole series. I love seeing them on a big screen. They are cinema. If you love the characters, there's good stories. I felt what they did was ambitious to begin with, beginning with Iron Man in 2008. And with this whole sequence ending with Endgame, or technically Spider-Man Far From Home, I thought it was very good epic storytelling, very good combined storytelling. Even though there's different filmmakers for each one, you have some that have made returns, like the Russo brothers. It's really good storytelling, and I really felt they got their stride going with Captain America: The Winter Soldier. But they are cinema. I think Scorsese made a big mistake about that. But he is right. There's an overcrowding of the movie theaters. But it's always been like that. It's always been like that. But the thing is, I think in the past, more people were aware of a variety of movies because of print media, because of the newspapers. That is one thing that I think is missing from the movies. When the internet, social media, and everybody is posting the same stuff, you're going to see that. But you always had the blockbusters. You always had what he calls the theme parks. Hell, people seem to forget. Apocalypse Now was a theme park, and I know Coppola commented on it as well. That was a blockbuster. You've always had them. They're not going to go away. But everybody was aware of the blockbusters and the serious historical epics because of the newspapers, because of newspaper ads, because everything was out there. When you would pull out your weekend magazine sections of the newspapers, and you would see the newspaper ads for what is coming out, the big ads, going back to the 60s and to now. I think that is missing. Since last summer, kind of something that I've been doing for stress relief is revisiting old newspaper ads. I started to subscribe to newspapers.com. Specifically the Chicago Tribune portion of newspapers.com. So I could take a look at the newspaper ads from when I was going to movies. And I'm putting together a notebook. Here's what I've come up with so far. And I briefly subscribed to the New York Times and the LA Times portions of it as well. But because I grew up in Chicago and was going to movies in Chicago, I felt this would be the one to stick with. And I got this big notebook here. This is an advertisement for Cineplex Odeon and the debut of them at McClure Court Cinemas in Chicago. Long story about that, but I divided these by director, Martin Scorsese. Just to give you a taste of what's in here. This one is personal for me. One of the greatest cinematic experiences I've ever had. is seeing Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July in 70 millimeter at McClure Court Cinemas in Chicago the first week of January with my father in 70 millimeter, and it was a THX Lucasfilms certified cinema. Seeing the THX Cimarron trailer with the conductor's hand at the beginning of that movie has stayed with me, and everything that I've tried to do nowadays by going to the Dolby Cinema at AMC or Harkins Theaters in Arizona, their Cine1 chain, is to try and recreate that. But I decided to get nostalgic, and I started to go back to the 70s and look at the ads then. Then I decided to go back to the 60s, and the 60s were very interesting for newspaper ads. On one page, you have smaller ads, some of them for hit epic films that were being presented in a roadshow to get your tickets. But on one page, you could see the Hollywood blockbuster at the time, the art house film, and since adult films or X-rated films were shown in the movie theaters at the time, on the same page, an X-rated film. Everything was available. Check out this page right here from 1968. You can see on this page the hit film from Hollywood is Rosemary's Baby, being shown at a first-run cinema in Chicago, the Chicago Theater. And you have the debut film by French director Claude Barry, The Two of Us, which I talked about on a Blu-ray pick of the week. Everything is on here. Everything is available. It's showing you everything is available. So people were aware, and I think the awareness is not there anymore because of the ad campaigns, because of the advertising. I mean, but the Marvel films do have a set fan base as well, but so does Martin Scorsese. Getting back to that part of this, if there is an enemy in this whole thing, I say it's Netflix. All they had to do was swing and tell the theaters, yes, you could have the 90 days to show the film, because honestly, the AMCs and the Regals, they want to show The Irishman. They're not crazy. A Martin Scorsese film with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci that's getting rave reviews? Are you crazy? We want that. But Netflix doesn't want to budge. They are required 90 days before it goes to streaming. And Netflix didn't want to give them that. But that is one thing that I think is missing. The appearance that not all this stuff is available. I would love for them to come up with a movie database, a local city movie database that could have the equivalent of the movie posters, the movie ads from back then, where it's showing a listing of everything that's showing it in Dolby Cinema, or just as they're now called premium large format screens, now showing on these premium large format screens the way they did back in the day with 70 millimeter and the other theaters. That would be something to make people aware that there's a lot of other movies out there, a lot of other cinema out there. But the Martin Scorsese Marvel argument, I'm down the middle of that. Because, damn it, I love a good blockbuster. I love, to this day, seeing a movie that is big in scope, be it a historical epic, which we don't have too many of those anymore, or a big spectacle film like the Marvel films, on a big screen with the best technology like Dolby Atmos sound and Dolby Vision on a big screen. But I would also like to see The Irishman on the big screen as well. That's an issue with Netflix. But even the lowest rent home theater system nowadays could actually recreate the theatrical experience. You have televisions that now have Dolby Vision. You have 4K UHD players that have Dolby Vision. Even some of the streaming has Dolby Vision. The bitrate is less than a 4K UHD disc, but you still have it. So we can now recreate this. So when The Irishman comes out, because it's not showing anywhere near me in Arizona, thank you, Netflix, for that. I'm going to set my room up, get some popcorn from the Harkins movie theater chain because they bag it up and turn my room into a movie theater. But think about that the next time. What do you think is missing from movies nowadays? And I'm not talking about content, but as far as getting the word out that there's a wide variety of movies. Do you think we need something like newspaper ads nowadays? Do you think that's a major factor? Give me your thoughts on that. Curious. Thank you very much. And you'll hear from me again. Thank you all again for watching my channel. Spread the word. Please be safe. And have a great day.